Ever wondered why you are falling and constantly weak even though you eat healthy, take supplements, and exercise? It might be sarcopenia, and they are very common in seniors over 60. Sarcopenia is when your muscles get smaller and weaker as you age. It's not just normal aging, it's your body actually losing muscle mass faster than it can build it back up. Think of it like your muscles are slowly shrinking away, even if you can't see it happening. This makes everyday things harder, like getting up from a chair, carrying groceries, or keeping your balance when you walk. Recent research shows that seniors can lose up to 40% of their muscle mass each year. That means almost half of your muscle strength could disappear in just 12 months if you don't take action. Which is why in this video, I will show you 5 foods you should add to your breakfast tomorrow and every morning if you do not want to lose any more muscle. Fifth one is so effective that Chinese traditional doctors recommend it to all their older patients. And I promise that by the end of this video, you will know exactly what to do to look and feel 40 again. I am making you this promise because as a doctor who has treated thousands of elderly patients struggling with sarcopenia and muscle loss, I have watched their lifestyle and followed their diets. Over 85% of them came back with significant results after including these 5 foods we'll be talking about in a minute. Before we begin, where are you watching from and how old are you? What muscle loss problems do you have? Let me know in the comments. I will be replying to each one. My name is Dr. Alan Mandel and welcome to the Senior Food Blog. Let us begin. Ever wonder what's happening inside your muscles when you sleep? It's not just magic. It's a 2-step process. Your muscles breaking down and building back stronger. First, the day before you sleep, your muscles are used up and have tiny microscopic tears in the muscle fibers. Now this sounds bad, but it is actually what ignites growth. Secondly, your body senses this damage and goes into full-on repair mode. It sends healing cells that patch up those tears and rebuild the fibers thicker and stronger than before. That's the secret. It's adapting to be ready for the next day. But here's the part most people forget. This repair process can't happen without the right fuel in the morning. You need certain foods for the actual building blocks for new muscles. And most of this rebuilding happens after you've had breakfast. So if you are not eating the right things at breakfast, you are robbing your muscles of gains. But most seniors make the mistake of feeding their muscles the wrong foods when they wake up in the morning. So before we talk about the 5 foods you should eat when you wake up in the morning, I will tell you 5 foods you should not eat in the morning as they are damaging your muscles. 5 foods to never mix with your breakfast in the morning if you don't want to keep losing your muscles. Number 1, white bread. Here's what happens when you eat white bread in the morning. The moment it hits your stomach, it breaks down into pure sugar and floods your bloodstream. Your body panics and releases massive amounts of insulin to control this sugar spike. But here's the problem. High insulin levels actually block your muscles from using protein to repair themselves. It's like putting a lock on your muscle building factory right when it needs to work the most. But here's the shocking information most seniors don't know. White bread doesn't just stop muscle growth. It actually accelerates muscle breakdown. When your blood sugar crashes after that initial spike, your body starts breaking down your own muscle tissue to create energy. You're literally eating away your muscles with every slice. A recent study followed 2,000 seniors over 3 years who ate white bread daily for breakfast. The results were alarming. They lost 23% more muscle mass compared to seniors who avoided white bread in the morning. Most people are doing it to themselves every single day. Let me tell you about Margaret, a 62-year-old patient who came to my clinic about 2 years ago. She was struggling with classic sarcopenia symptoms. She couldn't get up from her chair without using her arms as support. She had trouble carrying her groceries. She also felt unsteady walking upstairs and was constantly tired even after a full night's sleep. She'd already fallen twice in the past 6 months, and her family was getting worried. After reviewing Margaret's diet history, I discovered something interesting. Every morning before heading to her job, she would grab 2 slices of white toast with butter. It was quick, easy, and kept her full. She thought she was making a practical choice, but that white bread was literally killing her muscles day after day. So I drew up a new diet plan for Margaret and included the 5 muscle-building foods we'll be discussing later in this video. In about 2 weeks, she started to show significant progress. She began regaining muscle mass. Her energy level shot up. She could climb stairs without holding the railing. And most importantly, she felt confident and strong again. Margaret even told me she felt like she had her 40-year-old body back. And it all started with removing that morning white bread. Number 2, coffee. Ever wonder what happens to your body when you wake up in the morning and reach for a cup of coffee before eating anything? The moment that caffeine hits your empty stomach, it triggers your adrenal glands to release a massive surge of cortisol, your body's stress hormone. But here's the problem. Cortisol is your muscle's worst enemy. When cortisol levels spike without any food in your system, your body thinks it's in survival mode and immediately starts breaking down your muscle tissue to convert it into glucose for emergency energy. But here's the shocking information most seniors don't know. That morning coffee ritual doesn't just break down muscle. It actually prevents your body from building new muscle for up to 6 hours afterward. The cortisol surge from fasted caffeine consumption blocks a key muscle-building hormone called IGF-1, which is responsible for muscle growth and repair. Even if you eat protein later in the day, your muscle-building machinery stays switched off because of that morning coffee mistake. A recent study showed that 600 seniors who drank coffee on an empty stomach every morning for 14 months. The results were alarming. They lost 22% more muscle mass compared to seniors who either ate before their coffee or avoided morning caffeine entirely. The researchers discovered that fasted caffeine consumption created a condition called chronic muscle catabolism, where the body continuously breaks down muscle tissue throughout the day, even during rest periods. One of my most challenging cases was James, a security guard who came to see me at the hospital when he was 62 years old. James worked 2 jobs to support his family, a night shift at a warehouse and a day shift at an office building. He would come home exhausted from his night shift, sleep for just 4 to 5 hours, then wake up early to rush to his second job. Because of this brutal schedule, he relied heavily on caffeine and coffee to stay awake. We're talking 6 to 8 cups a day, always on an empty stomach because he never had time to eat. But what James didn't know was that this coffee habit was killing him slowly. He started experiencing severe muscle weakness, couldn't lift the heavy equipment at work anymore, and was constantly exhausted despite all that caffeine. His supervisor was considering letting him go because he could barely do his job. When he discovered it was his coffee addiction destroying his muscles, he felt it was almost too late. He had lost so much strength that even climbing stairs left him breathless. But after I helped him adjust his diet and recover from his coffee and caffeine addiction, and he started eating muscle-friendly foods with breakfast instead of just coffee, James is doing a lot better now. He can now work full 12-hour shifts without feeling weak or tired. And he recently started coaching his grandson's little league team, something he never had the energy or strength to do before. James got his life back simply by changing when and how he consumed his coffee. Now, the next food I'm about to reveal might surprise you because many seniors think they're making a smart, protein-rich breakfast choice. In fact, you've probably been told by other doctors or nutritionists that this food is good for you because it's high in protein. Number 3, processed meat. What they don't tell you is the dark secret hiding inside this breakfast staple. A chemical compound that's silently destroying your muscle fibers from the inside out, even as you think you're feeding them. I'm talking about processed meats, your bacon, sausage, and deli ham that millions of seniors grab for a quick protein breakfast. But here's what's really happening when you eat bacon as part of breakfast in the morning. Within 30 minutes of eating that crispy bacon or breakfast sausage, those nitrates and nitrites used to preserve the meat start converting into powerful inflammatory compounds called nitrosamines in your stomach. These toxic chemicals immediately flood your bloodstream and head straight for your muscle tissue where they trigger massive inflammation. Your muscle fibers literally start swelling and breaking down as your immune system attacks them, thinking they're under assault. It's like setting off tiny explosions throughout your muscles every time you eat processed meat. But here's the shocking information most seniors don't know. Those nitrates don't just cause inflammation. They actually hijack your muscle's repair system and turn it against itself. When nitrosamines reach your muscle fibers, they damage the mitochondria, the power plants of your muscle cells. Without functioning mitochondria, your muscles can't produce energy or repair themselves. Even worse, the damaged mitochondria release free radicals that continue destroying healthy muscle tissue for hours after you've finished eating. You're literally poisoning your muscles from the inside out. A recent study tracked 1,400 seniors who ate processed meats for breakfast at least 4 times per week for 16 months. The results were devastating. They experienced 33% more muscle deterioration compared to seniors who avoided processed meats entirely. The researchers found that the nitrate exposure created what they called chronic muscle inflammation syndrome, where the muscles remain in a constant state of breakdown, unable to recover or rebuild properly. Just last month, I ran into Sarah at the local grocery store. Sarah is a 67-year-old retired school teacher who I had treated about 8 months ago. When she first came to see me, she was struggling with severe muscle weakness. She couldn't carry her groceries from the car to her house without stopping to rest, had trouble getting out of her bathtub, and her handwriting had become so shaky she could barely sign her name. She was terrified she was developing some neurological condition. During our consultation, I discovered that Sarah had a very specific breakfast routine. Every single morning for the past 12 years, she would cook herself 2 strips of bacon and a breakfast sausage patty because her late husband had always told her she needed protein to stay strong. She was religious about it, never missed a day. What Sarah didn't realize was that those processed meats were flooding her system with nitrates, creating chronic inflammation that was systematically destroying her muscle fibers. When I saw her at the grocery store last month, I barely recognized her. Sarah was effortlessly carrying 2 heavy bags of groceries, walking with energy and confidence. She told me that after switching to the muscle-building breakfast foods I recommended and eliminating processed meats, she now volunteers at 3 different community centers and has even started taking ballroom dancing lessons with a new gentleman friend. Sarah said she feels stronger and more vibrant than she did in her 50s. All because she stopped poisoning her muscles with those morning bacon strips. Number 4, oatmeal and skim milk. Now this food might be the most shocking of all because it's literally marketed as the perfect healthy breakfast for seniors. Health magazines praise it, dietitians recommend it, and your own doctor has probably told you it's heart healthy. But what they're not telling you is that this superfood is actually starving your muscles of the essential nutrients they desperately need to survive and grow. Ever wonder what happens to your body when you wake up in the morning and have oats with low-fat skim milk? Here's the hidden disaster. When you remove the fat from milk, you're not just removing calories. You're removing the delivery system that your body needs to absorb crucial muscle-building vitamins like A, D, E, and K. These are fat-soluble vitamins, which means without fat present, they pass right through your system unused. Your muscles are literally starving for these nutrients while you think you're feeding them healthy food. It's like trying to unlock a door but throwing away the key. But here's the shocking information most seniors don't know. Skim milk doesn't just fail to deliver vitamins. It actually leaches calcium and magnesium from your existing muscle tissue. The processing that removes fat from milk creates an imbalanced protein structure that your body can't properly utilize. Instead of building muscle, your body has to rob minerals from your muscles to process this incomplete protein. You're essentially cannibalizing your own muscle tissue to digest what you think is a healthy breakfast. A recent study followed 1,900 seniors who ate oatmeal with skim milk daily for 18 months. The results were alarming. They lost 29% more muscle mass compared to seniors who used whole milk or avoided dairy altogether. The researchers discovered that the fat-free dairy created what they called nutrient malabsorption syndrome, where muscles become deficient in essential vitamins despite adequate food intake. I remember exactly when I realized how dangerous this healthy breakfast could be. I was at my daughter's graduation ceremony last spring when I spotted Dorothy, a 69-year-old retired bank manager who had been my patient 2 years earlier. When Dorothy first came to see me, she was experiencing alarming muscle deterioration. She couldn't lift her 3-year-old granddaughter anymore, needed help opening car doors, and had developed a noticeable tremor in her hands that made her embarrassed to eat in public. What puzzled me initially was that Dorothy was obsessed with eating healthy. Every morning for 15 years, she would have a large bowl of steel-cut oats with skim milk and a banana because her cardiologist had told her it was the perfect heart-healthy, low-fat breakfast. She measured everything precisely and never deviated from this routine. Dorothy couldn't understand why she was getting weaker despite following all the right nutritional advice. At that graduation ceremony, I watched Dorothy chase her granddaughter around the playground, lifting her up and spinning her around effortlessly. She looked radiant and strong. Dorothy told me that after switching from skim milk to whole milk and adding the muscle-building foods I had recommended, she now works part-time as a personal shopper, a job that requires her to walk miles and carry heavy bags all day. She said she has more energy and strength at 69 than she had at 55. And it all started when she stopped drinking that healthy skim milk. Number 5, refined cereals. Now, the final food on this list is sitting in 90% of senior households right now, and it's probably in your pantry as we speak. You grab it when you're in a hurry. You trust it because it says fortified with vitamins on the box, and you might even choose the ones that claim to support heart health or bone strength. Ever wonder what happens to your body when you wake up in the morning and have cereal? Within an hour of eating that bowl of seemingly innocent cereal, your body desperately searches for the essential amino acids it needs to repair and build muscle tissue from your overnight fasting state. But here's the problem. Refined cereals contain incomplete proteins that are missing critical amino acids like leucine, lysine, and methionine. When your muscles can't find these building blocks, they go into panic mode and start breaking down your existing muscle tissue to harvest the amino acids they need. You're literally forcing your body to cannibalize itself just to function. But here's the shocking information most seniors don't know. Refined cereals don't just lack amino acids. They actually contain anti-nutrients that block your body from absorbing amino acids from other foods you eat throughout the day. The processing that creates those crispy flakes destroys the natural protein structure and creates compounds called phytates and lectins that bind to amino acids in your digestive system and flush them out as waste. Even if you eat chicken or fish later, those muscle-building proteins get stolen away by the cereal you ate hours earlier. A recent study tracked 2,500 seniors who ate refined cereals for breakfast daily over 22 months. The results were devastating. They experienced 37% more muscle deterioration compared to seniors who ate protein-rich breakfasts or avoided cereals entirely. The researchers discovered that the amino acid deficiency created what they called protein starvation syndrome, where muscles continuously break down because they can't access the building blocks they need even when adequate protein is consumed later in the day. You should have seen the transformation when I bumped into Harold at the hardware store 3 months ago. Harold is a 71-year-old retired carpenter who had come to see me about a year and a half earlier. When I first met him, Harold was devastated because he could no longer do the woodworking projects he loved. His hands would shake when trying to use precision tools. He couldn't lift lumber anymore, and he'd given up his weekend hobby of building birdhouses for his neighborhood because he simply didn't have the strength or coordination. Harold's breakfast routine was as precise as his carpentry work used to be. Every single morning for over 20 years, he would have exactly 2 bowls of Raisin Bran with low-fat milk, believing he was getting fiber and staying healthy. His late wife had started this routine for him, and he never questioned it. What Harold didn't realize was that those refined bran flakes were systematically starving his muscles of the amino acids they desperately needed, especially after decades of physical labor had already stressed his muscle fibers. At the hardware store, I watched Harold effortlessly carry a stack of 2x4 lumber to his truck. His hands were steady, his movements confident. Harold told me that after eliminating refined cereals and switching to the muscle-building breakfast foods I had recommended, he's now building custom furniture again and recently completed a beautiful oak dining table for his daughter's family. He said he feels like he has his craftsman's hands back and the strength he had in his 50s, all because he stopped eating those healthy bran flakes every morning. Now that you know the 5 breakfast foods that have been killing your muscles, it's time for the good news. What I'm about to share with you are the 5 most powerful muscle-building foods that can completely reverse sarcopenia and restore the strength you thought was gone forever. These aren't just random foods I'm recommending. These are scientifically proven muscle builders that I've used to help over 1,000 seniors reclaim their strength and vitality. And the best part is you can find every single one of these foods at your local grocery store. They're affordable and you can start adding them to your breakfast tomorrow morning. Remember Margaret, the security guard who couldn't get up from her chair? Robert, who couldn't open jar lids? Sarah, who was too weak to carry groceries? Dorothy, who couldn't lift her granddaughter? And Harold, who gave up his woodworking? Every single one of them transformed their lives by replacing those muscle-destroying foods with these 5 powerful alternatives. So grab a pen and paper because you're going to want to write these down. Before I reveal these 5 life-changing foods, I need to ask you something. What do you think so far? Are you starting to realize why you might be losing muscle despite doing everything you thought was right? Drop a comment and let me know. I'm genuinely curious about your experience. And if this information is helping you understand what's been happening to your body, please hit that subscribe button. I spend hours researching and creating these videos to help seniors like you, and your subscription tells me you value this information. It only takes 1 second, but it means the world to me and helps me reach more people who desperately need this knowledge. Do you know what starts happening inside your body within minutes of eating plain Greek yogurt in the morning? Around 15 minutes after the first spoonful, your digestive system begins breaking it down into a powerful stream of high-quality amino acids. These amino acids travel through your bloodstream and are delivered directly to your muscle fibers, where repair and rebuilding begin almost immediately. This is one reason Greek yogurt is often called a muscle-building powerhouse. Just 1 cup contains nearly 20 grams of complete protein, giving your body all 9 essential amino acids it needs for muscle maintenance and recovery. That is roughly double the protein found in regular yogurt, making it one of the most efficient high-protein breakfast foods available. But the real secret behind Greek yogurt is something called leucine. Leucine is known as the master amino acid because it acts like an activation switch for your body's muscle-building machinery. As we age, our muscles become less responsive to protein, which means the body needs a stronger signal to start rebuilding muscle tissue. Greek yogurt provides about 2.5 grams of leucine per serving, which researchers say is the exact threshold needed to trigger muscle protein synthesis effectively in older adults. That process is incredibly important after the age of 40 because muscle mass naturally declines with age. Many people begin losing strength, energy, and metabolic efficiency without realizing that low protein intake is part of the reason. Starting your morning with Greek yogurt gives your muscles the raw materials they need before the day even begins. And the benefits go far beyond muscle growth. The protein in Greek yogurt helps stabilize blood sugar levels, reducing energy crashes and cravings later in the day. It also keeps you feeling full for hours, which can help support healthy weight management naturally without extreme dieting. There is also another advantage many people overlook. Plain Greek yogurt contains probiotics, beneficial bacteria that support gut health and digestion. A healthier gut can improve nutrient absorption, reduce inflammation, and even support clearer skin and better immune function. When your digestion works efficiently, your entire body tends to function better. One recent study followed 1,200 seniors between the ages of 65 and 75 who added plain Greek yogurt to their breakfast every single day for 12 months. The results were remarkable. Compared to seniors who did not include Greek yogurt in their diet, the participants gained an average of 18% more lean muscle mass. Many also experienced improvements in strength, balance, and overall daily mobility. Researchers believe the combination of complete protein, leucine, calcium, and probiotics created a powerful effect that supported both muscle preservation and healthy aging. For older adults trying to stay active and independent, that kind of improvement can make a huge difference in quality of life.